Good morning, this is Doug.
And I'm Cindy.
Welcome to Help Me Help Mama 5cast. Thanks for joining in today. And today we are talking about an interview you did yesterday with Phil Smith. And Phil did an excellent job in, portraying his story, his caregiver journey with his wife who had Alzheimer's. And he also talked about his mother who had Alzheimer's. If you haven't seen that, we have linked that below. Just click on the link below and watch that interview, because it's just, I think, 6 minutes long, but he said a lot in that 6 minutes.
He did. He experienced a lot in his caregiver journeys.
Right.
He started out with his mom. He was a distant caregiver. Mom was in California, Phil's in Arkansas. Fortunately, Mom had a daughter that lived within a mile of her out in California, and she helped Mom maintain her independence as long as possible. Phil would do the paperwork, the insurance, and everything that he could do remotely, which helps a lot.
I just made some notes on what he said. So much in there in that short interview, but he said he first noticed the symptoms in 2011.
In his wife.
Yeah.
And this was like 2 years after his mom had passed away. So
Right.
he had experienced this with his mom.
Right. And I think because of his experience with his mom, he noticed it quicker than his wife. He started noticing symptoms in 2011. She was diagnosed in 2013, and he said his adult kids would come over and visit, and they would say something, "Dad, have you noticed?" And he said, "Yeah." And we're going to the doctor soon. So.
And that's a really good point, because he did recognize what was going on, the symptoms that he had recently experienced with his mom. He recognized it.
And you ask him, if he, because so many caregivers are denial,
Right.
did you accept it, or would you basically in denial? I forgot the exact words. Were you in denial of it? And he said no. He recognized it in his mom, and he just realized that, hey, that's what it is.
And in the very beginning of dementia, specifically Alzheimer's, it's slow, it progresses, and you start recognizing the symptoms, and you kind of make up for their lack of their ability for things that they can do. So he did recognize it. He did admit it, but in the beginning, he was able to handle everything.
And he was caregiver for her at home for several years, and then in August 2017, she went to a facility, I believe,
assisted
living facility where she could get a little bit of help and assistance. At that time, she was ambulatory and able to move, and
that was one of the issues. She was getting out of the house.
Yeah, she was able to move.
And she loves to get out of the house. So if you stop and think about it, if you care for somebody who is up and moving around and repeating questions, and you do that for a couple of hours, you're okay with it. You do it a whole day, you may get a little frustrated and you want to sleep all night. But if you do it day after day after day, after week, after month, for several years, it's going to wear you down.
And he did it for 6 years because he first noticed it in 2011. Yeah. I wrote this quote down. I thought this was very insightful. He visited her daily in the assisted living facility, and he said he felt like he needed to visit, support, understand, and be present. Wow, that kind of sums it up right there. Visit, support, understand, and be present. And he's done a good job of all of that.
One of the things that she is now in a memory unit in a skilled facility. She had to transition from assisted up to the next level of care, the skilled facility. But she's in a memory unit, which is less restrictive than a secure unit. And she raised in the Baptist church. She sang a lot of hymns, and she loves to sing. But that's very repetitive, and it can get kind of loud. It was starting to bother some of the other residents. So Phil got her a CD player and headphones. And as soon as they put the headphones on there, she could hear her hymns. She stopped the singing.
Really?
Yeah. She's listening to that music now instead of making her own music, but she's internalizing it. And she recognized it because it's from a period in her life where she was singing those hymns in the church, and it's comfort.
Yeah.
Music does magic.
And music
Alzheimer's
is like
patients.
from a different part of the brain. I mean, we I remember several years ago we saw an elderly lady in a nursing home that had advanced Alzheimer's, and I remember the administrator asked her if she would play something, and I thought she won't be able to do that.
On the piano.
On the piano. And she just walked up to the piano and started playing. I thought, how can she do that? But it's from, I guess, distant memory. She's got it.
That part of the brain.
At the end of the interview, you asked Phil, what do you know now that you wish you had known at the beginning? And he said basically he wished you would have known about the resources that were available in the community there. And he mentioned several of them, support groups, social workers, respite care. You know, there's several resources available that, and he mentioned a few others that are available that, you know, and he said, you know, you can go on the internet and search for this stuff, and he did. And of course, he was plugged into the Alzheimer's support group, and that helped. But a lot of times, a lot of caregivers just don't know. They're just kind of struggling on their own, and they don't really know what's available. It makes it difficult sometimes. They feel like they're just in it by themselves. Phil did a great job.
He did.
And Phil, thank you for doing this caregiver interview. If you are watching this and you would like to share your story, please let us know. Just send a email to Cindy, we'll volunteer Cindy at helpmehelpmama.com, and let her know that you would like to share your story. You can do that. I mean, stories like this help other caregivers and give them hope, you know, and along the way you share a tip or two, things where people say, I didn't know that. I wish I would have known that. Yeah, share your story. We would really appreciate it. Just let us know. If you're watching this on YouTube, I guess you are. You know, if you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Just click the subscribe button and click the notification bell at the top, and you'll be notified of other videos that we do.
Yes.
So we got anything else to add to the Phil story? He did a great job.
He did a great job. We appreciate it, Phil. Thank you for sharing your story, because we know everyone's story is just a little bit different. And I know there are some people who had good takeaways from Phil's story. Thanks again, Phil. And thank you for being a caregiver for your loved one. You're making a huge difference in their life.